Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, here I will discuss about educational psychology theories for the material today's. My name is Fortunaria Henani Anissandra Mulia Dewi. Everyone call me Sandra. I'm from TBIC and my college in EIN Madura. Okay. Okay, first, here I will explain about the definition of educational psychological theories. In here, educational psychology is the branch of psychology concerned with the scientific study of human learning. The study of learning process from both cognitive and behavioral perspective allows research to understand individual differences in intelligence, cognitive development, affect, motivation, self-regulation, and self-concept, as well as their role in learning. The field of educational psychology relies heavily on quantitative methods, including testing and measurement, to enhance educational activities related to instructional design, classroom management, and assessment, which serve to facilitate learning process in various educational settings across the lifespan. Well, in educational psychological theories, there are 6 topics. 1. Psychology analysis. 2. Behaviorism. 3. Cognitivism. 4. Ecological. 5. Humanism. And then the last is Islamic education. Okay, first I will discuss about psychology analysis. Psychology analysis is a theory that seeks to explain the nature and development of human personality. This theory assumes that personality develops when there are conflicts of this psychological aspect, which generally occur in children or at an early age. And then in psychology analysis, there is also ideas of psychology analysis called Freud's model of mind. There are 3 kinds. 1. Conscious. This is where our children thoughts, feelings, and focus life. 2. Prescientious, sometimes called the subconscious. This is the home of everything we can recall or retrieve from our memory. 3. Unconscious. At the deepest level of our minds resides a repository of the process that drive our behavior, including primitive and instinctual desires. Okay, for the 2 topic here is about behaviorism. And here there is 3 concept, 1 stimuli, and 2 response, and 3 consequences, and back to stimuli. But first, in here I will explain about the definition of behaviorism. In here, behaviorism is a theory of learning based on the idea that all behaviors are acquired through conditioning. Ivan Pavlov here researched to dog and the bell is stimulus, and then in here responses is a dog, and the behaviorism of in the classroom is about the system of reward and punishment in class. And then for the 3 topic here is about cognitivism. Cognitivism is a theory that focuses on the process involved in learning rather than on the observed behavior. Okay, in cognitivism here, there is stages of cognitive development, and this is Pagets cognitive development in stages, development stages. He said, one, sensory motor age from birth to years old, up to years old, and then two, pre-operational age from 2 years old up to 7 years old, and then three, concrete operational from 7 years old and up to 11 years old. And then four, here formal operational um, adolescent in up adulthood. Adulthood. Okay, for fourth topic here is about ecological. Ecological is a theory developed by Uri Bronfenbrenner whose main focus is on the social context in which children live and the people who influence children's development. Okay, in ecological, there is principle of ecological learning. One, learning spaces are principally immaterial in nature and are spaces of action where learners' goals, knowledge, doing, and making emerge. And two, learning spaces pre-configured by teachers. But in here, or constructed by the learners when enacted. Therefore, learners' agency or and skill is of crucial importance. And then C, or learning space point 3 is about relational in nature, which implies that the learner relates and engage with research, for example, knowledge, people, materials, digital from local or extended. And number two of principal ecological learning is the educational context, which is institutional, material or digital infrastructure and pedagogical arrangement. For example, learning design or teacher support, facilitate frameworks and ecologies of resource that provide scaffolding for learning spaces. Okay, next for the fifth topic here is about humanism. But before that, I will explain about the definition of humanism. In here, humanism is a theory, outlook, or system of thought that focus on human beings rather than supernatural or divine insight. The system stresses that human beings are inherently good, and then that basic needs are vital to human behaviors. Okay, in humanism here, there is principle of humanism theory. There are five kinds of principle. One, student choice. In here, student choice is central to the humanistic learning theory and humanistic psychology. Humanistic learning is student-centered. So, students are encouraged to take control over their education. They make choices that can range from daily activities to future goals. Students are encouraged to focus on a specific subject area of interest for a reasonable amount of time that they choose. Point two is fostering engagement to inspire students to become self motivated to learn. The effectiveness of this psychology approach is based on learners feeling engaged and self motivated so they want to learn. And point three is the importance of self evaluation. For most humanistic teachers, grades don't really matter. Self evaluation is the most meaningful way to evaluate how learning is going. Grading students encourage students to work for the grade instead of doing things based on their own satisfaction and excitement of learning. Routine testing and rote memorization don't lead to meaningful learning in this theory, and then thus are not encouraged by humanistic teachers. And then point four here is feeling and knowledge. Feeling and knowledge are both important to the learning process and should not be separated according to humanistic psychology. Humanistic here is teacher must believe that knowledge and the feelings go hand in hand in the learning. And then the last point of principle is a safe learning environment because humanistic learning focus on the entire students. Humanistic educators understand that they need to create a safe environment so students can have as many as their needs met as possible. They need to feel safe, um, like psychically, mentally, and emotionally in order to be able to focus on learning. Okay, well, for the last topic of educational psychological theories is about Islamic education. In here, Islamic education can be defined as a process of providing guidance and instruction to learners in order to improve the what is that potential quality of the faith, intellectual personality, and skills of learners. The knowledge imparted to learners based on Islamic teachings is a future investment. In Islamic education, here there is also principle. There are three kinds of principle. One, formal sense, or taklim, tarbiyah, and takdib. Taklim from the root alima or to know, to be aware, to perceive, and to learn, which is used to denote knowledge being sought or imparted through instruction and teaching. And tarbiyah from the root raba, mean to increase, to grow, and to rear, implies a state of spiritual and ethical nurturing in accordance with the will of God. And then the last is ta'dib, from the root aduba, or to be cultured, refined, and well-mannered, suggests a person's development of sound social behavior. And then point two of principle Islamic education is
Nabi Muhammad SAW as a role models of Muslim life for Islamic education. From an Islamic perspective, the highest and most useful model of perfection is the Prophet Muhammad. And the goal of Islamic education is that people be able to live as he lived. And then the last point or 3 point of principle Islamic education is education in the context of Islam is regarded as a process that involves the complete person, including the rational, spiritual, and dimension. Maybe just it what I can explain about educational psychological theories. That's all enough for me. Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.